Good morning, one and all. Very soon we are going to start with paper and pen. First of all, thank all of you for the response you have given for this particular research workshop, and thereby the registration desk is full. Students are still coming in, and then there are some students, or many students rather, they want to join, but due to the capacity of the seminar hall, we can't accommodate everyone. But then we have got alternative system. There is a YouTube link which will go live, or rather it is live only, and the link is shared with our volunteers, and they can give it or spread it to those who are interested. So now registration desk, current registration part, just close it. Now we can start, as resource person has already arrived and the time limit is there, and thereby we have to complete it. So Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh, Jo bole so nihal, Sat Shri Akal. So warm welcome to all of you. This assembly in the August House is with the purpose of Anusandhan. I guess this word is now familiar. Anusandhan, this word is being recently uttered out by our Prime Minister in the speech which he has given on occasion of Independence Day celebration from Red Fort, 76th years Independence celebration. Okay. So this mantra was uttered out by our Prime Minister while rendering speech from the Red Fort on the occasion of 26th National Independence Day celebration. So under aegis of RUSA, that is Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, criteria 3, we have got a criteria under Internal Quality Assurance Cell, okay, IQSC, has taken an initiative to inculcate and promote research culture among the students of the college. So Department of Commerce immediately supported this idea, and today we are here to say Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, and now Jai Anusandhan. That is, the research is definitely a prime thing nowadays, and we have to follow that. So I would like to give thanks to Criteria 3 convener. She has just come, and as she is busy, so she left. From Science Department, Aparna Dubhashi Madam, and all team members in supporting Department of Commerce to start or to initiate this program. I would also like to thank Kala sir for giving, or Dr. Kala sir of IQSC for giving immense support and motivation to arrange this program. I would appeal, or rather request, Anita Madam, as our chief guest has arrived, and within no time we have to start the program. I would request Anita Madam to felicitate or honor today's guest of honor, or our resource person, session speaker, Professor Ajay Saraf sir. So I would ask volunteer, please. Yeah, Anita Madam. Thank you. To felicitate you. So it is a token of love from Khalsa College. Thank you. Okay, so I'll briefly introduce sir, and then our session can start. Okay, so once again, warm welcome to all of you. We are humbled by the response given by all of the participants at very short notice, and resultantly this August House is full with great enthusiasm and energy. At the outset, I, Professor Samir Velankar, on behalf of Criteria 3 Research Group under IQAC, as well as from Department of Commerce, do take privilege to welcome dignitaries of from the college, as well as our resource person, Professor Ajay Saraf sir. At the same time, our own teachers from Department of Commerce, Dr. Anita Pasdola Madam, Dr. Saili Madam, they are there to motivate all the students, and our sir is also ready with PPT as well as his own knowledge to deliberate on the topic. So it is, participants are there from different faculties. So we are very happy when we have announced this workshop. We were not sure how many students will respond or do register for this event, because research for the students is something new. I'm talking about UG as well as PG. For PG, yes, it is just beginning. But then I am very happy to see our Department of Commerce and Criteria Research 3, that students are from science, commerce, arts, as well as from management, and some students, or there are many students even from outside colleges, in the sense Podar, SIWS, they are there, registration, they have registered for it, and now those students are there in our August House. I welcome all of them. I do welcome Rai sir. He is the member of Criteria 3 Research Conclave or Research Group, and in his schedule or packed schedule, as he has come here, I am very thankful to him. I am also delighted to know that in the registered participants, not only students, basically it was meant for students and accordingly such publicity was made, but then some of the teachers, faculties in our institution and some from other institutions, they have also shown interest, and out of love of research or gaining more knowledge from very experienced resource person, so they gave us a call that can we register. So we invited them, and there are few teachers in the crowd, so they are also part of this particular workshop. So I am very happy to share this particular information. So we are fortunate enough to book the dates of Professor Ajay Saraf sir, today's resource person. He is well-known statistician by profession and researcher at heart. Statistics is an integral part of research, and research in turn gains attention when it is presented in a quantitative form. So today's resource person has mastery over both the dimensions of research, and thereby audience present over here would really get intellectual feast for today and tomorrow. So we have got this very person, as I have just described about Dr. Ajay Saraf sir, and as he has given his formal resume or biodata, from that some excerpts, not everything because we have time limitations. So sir has completed MSc in stats, and then looking back is giving consultancies to universities, corporate offices, organizations in the subject of research and practical aspect of it. Many faculties, those who are pursuing PhDs, almost 475 plus, have received apt guidance from sir in the stats and research framework while pursuing their doctoral studies. He is a regular speaker and resource person at various research related conclaves, orientation refresher courses organized by various universities at frequent intervals. Such a person with distinct recognition in the field of research and stats is here with us. It's a matter of pride and pleasure for all of us. Now, without wasting much of the time, I would call upon Sir Ajay Saraf sir to take the charge of event and give the intellectual feast and deliberation to all the curious and enthusiastic budding researchers. Before I conclude my opening remarks, I would like to remind you about upcoming events also, as well as the decorum and modalities of today and tomorrow's workshop. So everyone is received, I guess, conference kit. In that you have got conference pad and material. You can use it as sir is going to have the way in which he is going to proceed. Definitely some interactive sessions also will be there. So you can use that conference kit or material. one thing, and there is a feedback form in it for today. So once the session gets over, everyone has to fill that feedback form and return to our volunteers without fail. Okay, and tomorrow again you have to come. The conference kit is for both the days. Okay, and tomorrow separately form will be given to all of you. Okay, so accordingly you have to cooperate with the volunteers as well as with the team. So with this, I conclude my opening remarks. I am thankful to everyone, Dr. Saili Madam, Dr. Mrugendra Rai sir, Dr. Anita Madam, and all other teachers who are from different faculties or different streams. They are here to motivate our students and the program. Thank you, and I invite Dr. Ajay Saraf sir to please proceed with the session.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me thank the organizer and the management of the college, along with the volunteers, because without their support, such events cannot happen. And apologize for a little delayed start of the workshop, but we'll ensure that tomorrow will start at dot at 11. At some point of time, you must have learned some part of statistics like arithmetic mean, median, mode. That much you can remember as a statistics part only. Okay? And from there, I could take you up to the research. When we learn maybe in a 10th standard arithmetic mean, or for those who have 11th, 12th and opted mathematics instead of secondary practice, they can learn more in maths. Then first year BCom, we might have compulsory subject. But that time we are learning only academically. We should have just get the knowledge. Today, the main part of the lecture is to explain the entire statistics and research process professionally. How practically we can use that part. That is the key part of my explanation. Research and methodology, hundreds of books are available and they're written very nicely by the authors. But when you go to the practical approach of any research, then that knowledge has some limitation. We may not be able to use exactly the theoretical knowledge of research into the practical. A lot of customizations are required, a lot of original thoughts are required. So we're discussing all about that part which is called the research. Next slide, please. Now, meaning of research, what exactly? You can take down whatever things you require. You can have a running notes. A lot of inputs you get which are not available in the research methodology book. And I'm going to explain how you can do the research. Because for research, there is no eligibility. Need not be a postgraduate student, need not be a faculty, need not be a net set pass. You can be an undergraduate student, still you can have a research and you can publish your papers. So I'm giving the guidance, practical guidance, how a research can be conducted and how can we get it to the surface by getting publication or participation in that part. Meaning of research. All questions cannot be answered from the textbook. That is very sure. Like the two movies have come recently, the blockbuster with a lot of expectation, but not met the expectation of the commercials what they were expecting. So question in the mind is why the expectation of the commercial of those two big films not meeting the expectation. You don't get the answer in the textbook. For that you require research. And so what research we can do? Yes. There can be multiple reasons, but definitely one of the reasons can be OTT. Because of OTT is available, there can be perception. See the word perception I'm saying. Is people might think that when it will come after 15 days or 1 month of the OTT, we'll watch it. We'll assume that film will release 1 month later. Some people will feel that part. The ticket is costly, food is too costly over there, ticket is reasonable, food is more costly. So instead of wasting so much money, let us see the movie according to my convenience with my friends. So that can be perception. I'm not saying it might be true, but that answer will get in the textbook. So one can take the research, we can float the some questions to their friends at the different levels and ask them, will you like to see the movie in the multiplex only? You will say yes or no. You can ask the question, will you like to see the movie on the OTT? Then how much movie you have seen on the OTTs? So we want to understand in future, is the OTT going to have the impact on multiplex or might be a conventional entertainment method that we have? It might possible that many people may be having a cable TV or a D2H services, but that's stopped now. Because the smart TVs are available, you can download apps, so you've already changed that app. So these are all changing testing habits of the people are changing, and that can be part of the research. You will not get any title in the textbook, yeah, this is the title for the research, that you have to search. When you understand that this question cannot be answered by textbook, definitely it requires research. I'll give many ideas for that part. Just go to the next slide. One more, please. This can be your title. The idea was floated. Your title can be to study the impact of, I'm saying impact, in positive, negative, it might be, we don't know, but we want to study the impact of OTT on multiplex and conventional mode of entertainment. So what we have to do, we have to frame few questions and we have to get information from the different category of people. Don't take only one set of people, it can be biased. So go for different category of people, different level of incomes, different educational level, occupational level you can take, and you can just then analyze the data. That information is called your research. So I'm just giving the idea what exact research, because what is research, for that people speak for not only hours but for days and days they can speak. And we have to speak only according to the audience, because this research is different for different levels. I'm speaking only for the UG and mostly for the PG level. I think for PG we have the projects we have, I think same 3 or same 4, they have the projects.
Yes.
So definitely, when you do the project, first you search on the net, the information is available or not.
Yes.
So instead of that, if you want to really enjoy your research work, which can help you a lot. Just asking you to settle down.
There is please.
Yeah.
There is please.
Come on, be quick.
Let me have a quick survey. How many students are from SIWS? Please raise the hand. SIWS, any students are there? Okay. Only one student is there. Yes. One teacher, Professor Ravi sir. Hello, ma'am. Poda College. Any student from Poda? No. Okay. How many students from the science stream? Sir.
Science.
Science, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Even arts also.
Arts is also there and commerce. Mixed crowd.
You understand what is the trouble for me? The purpose of asking this thing is the research is different for the science stream and different for the commerce stream. So, we told right from the point of entering that so there may be some students of science. So some is so that somewhat means the perception for every person. For them it is some students. For me it is some students. Okay, anyway. I'm more talking about the commerce and management. Science, I might take it tomorrow probably because I was not aware about the proportion of science. I was told the science will be a little less in proportion, but practically it happened different. So I might cover it tomorrow. But understand how to float the ideas for that part. So science, if I wanted to cover it quickly, we get the students from medicines. Those who are doing their MBBS or doctorate, MD or MS. So what kind of research they have that I'm just explaining. When they implement some drug or medicine to the patient, then they collect the information. Might be if you have a fever, then fever at the first visit, then after 4 hours, after 8 hours, after 12 hours, after maybe 1 day. So they want to understand the effectiveness of the medicine which they have tried is effective at what interval? Is it after 4 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours? Because the patient, when you experiment the medicine, expect that within 10-15 minutes the fever should come down. But if you know statistically that the medicine is effective in duration 4 to 6 hours, this is a result which you know, then you can tell the patient and the relatives, yes, we have already given the drug, medicine we have given, it will take 4 to 6 hours to have the effect of that part. So this is also called the research in science. Whatever you have drug, medicines, whatever experiments, their effect comes at what interval is also called as research. So just I'm trying to cover science and the commerce and management both the stream. As I said, in the research, when you feel if these answers you cannot have in the textbook, then definitely it can be a topic for the research. Of course, my view of getting the titles very quickly, because I'm used to this for last 25-30 years. For you might take some time, or I will give some list of the possible research at your level which can be conducted to float that idea, and you can have the research on that part. So understood the first part? This can be a type. It has for commerce and management, even science student can take this part of it. There's no restriction, the science has to be only that stream. It can go for multidisciplinary and you can have your publications from this part. Next slide please. Click once again. I'm just giving 2-3 ideas what research is, because once you conceive your mind what research is, then I can take out the further how to conduct the research, how to experiment it, and what are the steps. PG students, maybe most of the students will go for the employment after completion of their PG course. They look for the employment. Some colleges may have a campus placement also. Some companies may come. Some people can apply their own according to the knowledge of the vacancy, or some people can apply on the portal of the corporate companies also. All people will not get the job of their expectation. Some people might not get the job also. Degree is same. Even the percentage performance, academic performance might be same. But still there might be difference in getting the employment. And definitely question comes, उसको मिल गया जॉब, मुझे नहीं मिला, मेरा तकदीर ऐसा है, नसीब ऐसा है, nothing like that. So we can float the idea. This is a good topic for any college or any management can think of it. Any company comes for the placement, they have some expectation about the candidate. Expectation. You can interview those type of HR people. What is their expectation for the employment? What are the posts they are expecting? So you can ask their expectation. It's called employability skill. They will see the 4-5 criteria are there. One is the academic knowledge, which is essential. Second might be a soft skill. Third can be a technological knowledge, communication knowledge. So they will give 4-5 criteria, and what they expect in that they will tell you. When you see that 4-5 criteria, and when you realize what your existing students get from the present academic courses, there is a gap. Students are being taught properly according to the syllabus, but what industry is expecting is a gap. Like what happened for the maths and science students, specifically statistics students that I'm telling you. In statistics, in Mumbai University, they teach entire academics curriculum syllabus perfectly. Students also adopt it very nicely, but unfortunately they are not taught any software. There is no part of the curriculum. And any statistician, when they go for the job, they are given Excel sheet and asked to do the data analysis. And only can say, no, I can't do data analysis. I can derive the formula. I can tell you how the standard deviation can be calculated. but I can't calculate without a formula. I can calculate. I can use the technology. I can't use the software. So there's a gap which is happening at present also. Because last week we have a seminar in the RJ College in Nirmala, so that time we realized because they have especially for the statistics department. So this gap they have identified. The students are not learning any software in the postgraduate level and expectation of the industries. They should know software R, SPSS, Jamovi, Stata, something they should know. And then industry says he will absorb the student, will train them, and then will make them employable. And we don't know how much they have a potential to adopt the technology. So there are resistance for the campus placement. No campus placement for MSc statistics because no software are there. So this gap is identified. Then you have to do your own. Yes, this is a gap. So I have to learn the software. So I have to fill the gap. So we can get a better employment. So now what we made them aware, when you start in the first year of MSc, that time you start learning the softwares. And whichever software will demand that you learn it so that when you become postgraduate, you have certificate and you get degree, and when you apply, that time you have a knowledge as well as technological knowledge, then you will be able to absorb the knowledge. This is the called research. Because it has happened that more of students are aware about the academic knowledge, that absolutely fine. Some students are shaky in the communication part, so there we have to improve. And technological adoption is very important. For any stream, for any level, maybe student or faculty or senior faculty or any higher authority, adoption of technology is essential for them. Without that, the survival of the person of the industry is become difficult. COVID-19 pandemic is the best example of adoption of technology. Suddenly we have to switch to the online lectures. And people have to learn to understand it, what is the online technology, what is Zoom lecture and that and that and that. But if you are already prepared, you are ahead of the time, the advantage. Some research, when you do it, we get some practical difficulty. And we have to require some skilled people, professional people who can assist you to have a clear and a better research. I'll give an example. In the COVID, most of the lectures were online. And fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, the results were excellent. And the people did the survey. People did the research. The online teaching, student satisfaction, happy. For what reason we don't know. Performance, excellent. That means statistically I can say that the online teaching is very effective in academic performance, right? And this is what the people was trying to prove that part. When they came to me, sir, I'm getting the results, students are happy and the performance is excellent. Why we teach? Because the performance is excellent. That means online teaching should continue? No. But the research says same thing. The online teaching students are happy, performance is excellent, better than the offline performance. Yes. So we insert the mediating variable, mode of examination. The examination pattern was changed. And that makes the more effective. If I said, if you want to really examine online teaching is effective or not, then the best method of research, understand the research, how it should be a clean, unbiased research has to be conducted. Take 2 batches of 50 students. You teach both online. Take one exam, the way it was conducted, and take one exam offline, which was previously conducted by University of Mumbai. And then see the performance. If both are good, then we can definitely accept that it is effective. But in case offline performance student, those who are giving offline examination, the performance little low, then we have to say that particular mode of examination is playing the important role in getting the effective result. So sometimes you cannot go over and just expect the results which you are required to be. So it can be always go for unbiased, go the neutral. You do the research, it should be neutral. Let the results, what will come, accordingly you have to accept it. So one topic I floated of OTT, another is identify the employment skills, what existing in the student and what is expectation by the employer, where is the gap. If they feel the communication skill is missing in the students, then you have to really develop that part. If they say that the academic knowledge is not there because they might say the COVID batch, okay, then we'll take it afterwards. So that should not happen. It may be COVID batch or maybe a regular batch. You should be at par with the knowledge with the other students. Academic knowledge, soft skill trainings. So these all you have to adopt your own. Everything you cannot rely on the system. You cannot blame the system. You have to understand the system and you have to evolve from that part. Come to the first slide now. I just enough explained about the research part. Now we'll go over. Next. One more. Thank you. We go to the previous slide, please. Significance of research. Coming to the significance of research. What is the intake? What is the benefit for the students? The benefit का slide आएगा आपको आगे जाओ थोड़ा. Significance of research means benefit will get. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's. They are the benefits for research. So many people say what exactly research is, and it happens due to multiple reasons. You go on the net, try to identify the topic which is similar to you, and you find it here. This is the most similar topic. You just take it out for your reference, make few changes, nominal changes, and submit it. But see, the deeper understanding of subject. Try to connect with the research part. When you do the research, you think extra and try to get more information. So definitely your understanding of the subject improves. Those are the students in the PG level and they are interested to go in the finance part for the MBA. Or they wanted to have a project on the financial part. So they can study few companies of performance and what was the impact of COVID-19 or pandemic on their performance. They can study that part. They can take 2 or 3 sectors. They can take healthcare sector or they can take automobile sector. The English of taking these 2 sectors, healthcare sector has a positive impact because of the requirement of healthcare accessories was a huge demand, so it has a positive impact. And automobile has a negative impact. So definitely we have to understand and we have to present them what is the impact. Now when you study financial, you cannot say only yes, positive impact, negative impact. But if you want to really go in detail, then financial students can understand that various types of ratios. The liquidity ratios are there, performance ratio is there, efficiency ratio is there. So definitely you have to calculate all the ratios and explain if for these ratios performance is better, for these ratios performance is not satisfactory. So when you read about these ratios, you get a practical knowledge. You when this ratio, which are the efficiency ratio, which are the liquidity ratio, which are the profitability ratio, that we can understand. And that's about practical knowledge of it. In textbook we learn that part. I'm giving few more example for the students who want to pursue the research of finance. Finance is little easier because they get the secondary data. They get the data which is available. Now for this, you can take the data from the money control. You can take few companies, at least 20-25 companies. You can download the data and you can do the research. For that, you don't have to ask for the perception of the people. So whenever you conduct the research for financial parts, definitely secondary data can be used. So there are 2 types of data. I'm just coming one step ahead. In the research, you require some information, and that information is called as a data. And that information can be either primary or secondary. When I was speaking about the earlier part, OTT and communication skill, it was primary data which is collected by the investigator. And when I was speaking about the medicine example, effectiveness of medicine, so they will use the observation method. They will record the temperature of the patient at the time of visit, after 4 hours, after 8 hours, after. So they have to observe that. They cannot ask how much is your temperature. You can't ask. So you have to observe that part. And for financial, definitely you get it from the some database vendors or sites who can provide the information. So one step is any research requires some information, and that information is called either primary data or secondary data. Understood? So first is, as I said, understanding of subject develops a lot. One of the research was there were 10 mutual fund companies, and he wanted to understand which mutual fund company is best for the investment. Which mutual fund company is best for the investment? It's a simple question, and he's given the 10 options. So what I have to do, I have to collect the information of ratios, performance ratios of all the 10 mutual fund companies. Now see, the research of the performance of organization is not applicable for performance of mutual fund. The mutual fund performance mainly depends on returns. How much I get the return on my investment is the most important. But every time only returns will not be important. It's also important that your investment is how much safe, how much fluctuation or variation in investment, that also have to understand. So we have learned standard deviation. That word, many of the people knowing that word, they're not knowing the meaning of standard deviation, but they know the word. What standard deviation measures? Variation. The NAV, net asset value of that mutual fund company, is every day either increasing or decreasing. So if there is a small increase or small decrease in the NAV, then we can say that the fund is stable. Fund is not risky. It may not give good return, but investment is safe. And there are some funds which is having a high fluctuation. कभी NAV का प्राइस बहुत ऊपर जाएगा, कभी बहुत कम आ जाएगा. For last 2 days, the share market has an impact. Most of people started booking the profit because of last week it was a boom, and now they are making the profit. Now definitely NAV will come down for last 2-3 days. So this standard deviation, what it measures? Variation. So I can give the answer 2 ways. If you want good returns, then maybe the fund A is good. But if you want a stable, if you don't want risk, you are not a risk-taking investor, then this fund can be better. So your answer can be different in different perceptions. And that is what the practical understanding of the topic which you are learned academically, that you will understand. Is standard deviation क्या होता है? ये एक होता है standard deviation. In textbook you get only one standard deviation. But in practice we get downside standard deviation and upside standard deviation. So we get 2 things which is not in the academics. So that's why we are saying that you get a deeper understanding of the subject. Because when you read that part, you understand downside standard deviation. Textbook में तो नहीं पढ़ा है downside. So what exactly is? Then you have curiosity. Then you identify the net. Then you realize whatever the average value, below that how many times it going down? Below that, only below that is called downside. ऊपर गया तो नहीं देखेंगे लोग. नीचे कितने बार गया है average से? Is called downside standard deviation. And that is what understanding of the subject is automatically. It gets curiosity about the subject, and you start exploring the interest of the subject. Better problem solving skill. More important for the company requirement, corporates require is that your analytical mind should be developed. And analytical mind is nothing but a problem solving ability. That you cannot learn from the textbook. That you have to understand from the situation. And situation cannot be uniform at all the times. For any corporate, there might be some competitor intent to market. The test of the habit of the people might be changing. There can be a pandemic situation like COVID-19. So when you come from the situation, how to handle them at your level, at your designation level, definitely that thinking can be developed. And that's why we say that the greater problem solving skill you get in the research mind. Confidence and develop the independence. You read something from the textbook maybe 3 times, 4 times according to your retention memory, and just have a debate or group discussion or go to the interview, your confidence level will be different. And if you do the research and on the same topic you debate, your confidence will be too different. Because as I said, mutual fund में अभी इसका discussion किया हमने. So you can see that part. Yes, I have studied all this part. Mutual fund में अगर financial ratio, if you go in the deeper part, we get the Sharpe ratio, then tenor ratio, then you get multiple ratios are there. So you can understand that these are all ratios I have calculated, and you get the practical meaning of the ratio, and then you can speak on them more confidently as compared to what you learn theoretically. So research help you to become more independent. Honestly, I'm a science student, and I have no much aware about the commerce, management, economics, psychology, education, medicine. I have no knowledge about that part. But when I started doing data analysis part, then I have to interact with the different category of people, and then I get the knowledge from them. And today I have understood that part. If somebody asks me to speak on the medicine, or speak on the psychology, or speak on the import export, I can definitely speak on that. But because of I have not read it, but I have done the research. Last week, a student had a viva, and the topic was very interesting. You might enjoy that topic. The topic was, will India achieve $75 billion exports in gems and jewelry? If not, what are the reasons that are hindering the reasons? What are affecting reasons? That you have to identify the reasons. So I have absolutely no idea about the gems and jewelry, what depends on that part. But when I started reading, because I have to do the analysis part. Because statistically, I have a good hold on the softwares. So many people want to do the data analysis from me. But say, coming to that part only, confidence level, all first thing. When I do the data analysis, I have to understand all the surrounding information. When you say gems and jewelry, it has an impact of which other factors? Then that person got the information, it has an impact of gold import. Because all diamond jewelry is required, the gold metal is required that part. So gold is important. Our exchange policies are important. Our foreign exchange rates are important. Then in India, we don't get that with diamond. We have to get the diamond, we would just make it a polishing, and we make it finished, and then you have to just send it back. India is supposed to be the best skill in gems and jewelry polishing and making the jewelry. So that was the subject, and therefore I have to learn all these aspects. There is a factor called JJTC, the gems and jewelry. There is an organization, and that organization has a role. They have to conduct the trade fairs in India and also outside. So how many trade fairs are required to be conducted? So that all information becomes important for me, and then I get a better understanding of that subject. So when you do the research of your subject, definitely your knowledge will be much more than what the knowledge is provided by the textbook. There are many competitions are there for the students. Some students voluntarily may participate, some students ignore that fact. Like Avishkar is a competition held by University of Mumbai, and definitely you can have participation in that fact. Or whatever research you can do, that research paper can be published in your name. You may be a first year student, second year, first year PG student, second year PG student. There is no qualification for publication of research, which is an advantage. You should have degree, then you can publish the paper. Only thing is, definitely require some guidance for the respective professors or some senior persons who have done the research earlier, because from the textbook reading and doing the research, it will be difficult for you. That's why we're going to discuss the problems in the research. So these are all benefits that you get from the research. You can publish the papers, and if you have 2, 3, 4, 5 publications in your CV, you become more impressive. Because definitely they will test you whether you have done the research your own or you got some copy paste from the net. So you can let them discuss, I've calculated the 5 ratios. I've used this method, I use the down standard deviation, I've used the upward standard deviation. What the purpose of standard deviation, what is the NAVs? When you speak to them about this part, it becomes more impressive. So these all are the benefits of the research. Now coming to process, how the research is to be conducted. Coming to the main part, is all making the importance, then effectiveness of the research that was discussed. Now coming to the process. Next slide. Thank you, Abhineet. Thank you का slide आ गया था. This is the entire process. Title finalization. So we said what is the title. Then comes review of literature. This is mainly because for the commerce and management students. For science students, we can discuss maybe tomorrow more in detail. But this you can do it for this also. Questionnaire for primary data, or you can collect the data from the secondary also. You can collect the information from the secondary data also, but data is required. The next part is called data analysis. Whatever you have learned, a little bit of statistics in some point of time, that, and in addition to that, some more methods we have to apply. We should get a practical knowledge of use of data analysis. Because information you have, but how to draw, how to classify, how to analyze, that methods we have to learn, that techniques we have to learn is called data analysis. And data analysis will give the findings and conclusions. Yeah, finding is OTT is going to have an impact on the multiplex, or the technological skill is lacking in the students as compared to expectation of the employer. So that can be findings. And then you can recommend. Like if you feel the communication skill is lacking, then definitely college management organization can arrange some workshops on improvement of the communication skill, or you yourself can try to improve your communication skill and try to fill the gap. Yeah, and that's called recommendation. Recommendation is always important so that your research is valuable for the society. If I have 10 mutual fund companies, at the recommendation I can say that if you are a risk-taking investor and want to high returns, then you can invest in this company. If you are not a risk-taking investor and if you wanted to have a stable and if you wanted to have a less fluctuation in your returns and stable, then you can invest in this company. So you can give the recommendation according to your findings of the data. So this entire process is called as a research. At every level, research have a different involvement. Then I'm speaking purely about the graduate and PG students. What can be the level of research? Because research paper can be done, genuine research paper can be done within a week also, and some research paper may require some 6 months to 8 months time also. It depends on the level. Just for your knowledge, when you publish your research papers, then there are categories are there. One is called peer review publication. Then you can publish your research paper there. Those who are doing the PhD, doctorate, for them is a mandatory that they should publish it in the UGC care journals. UGC care journals is second level, mandatory. Some students pursue their PhD from the deemed university, private university like NMIS or Symbiosis. They make it a mandatory for them to publish this paper from the Scopus journals, Scopus level journals. And some who wanted to apply for the foreign university for the teaching, they have to get their publication in the ABDC journal, not ABCD, ABDC. So it's called ABDC journals. So these are the levels are there. And definitely, of course, the publication charges also higher because to publish it in the peer review journal, it may be 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. Might be the cost. I'm saying average, depends on the impact factor. Cost of publication, the Scopus can be in the range of about 8 to 12,000. For ABDC journal, the publication charges in the range of 20 to 25, and for ABDC can be little higher. But you can think only for a peer review journals, it can be possible for you. may not be very costly also, and at your level it can be of approximately 6 to 10 pages of paper can be published. 6 to 10 pages can be enough. As you go the levels, then you have to involve more statistics, data sizes more methods you have to apply, and then simple samples of that type. You open the folder and just comment there. Second. I'm showing sample research paper which is finalized for peer review and UGC care level that I'm explaining to you. It's a simple paper, maybe about 10 pages as I said. This can be definitely a quality paper for peer review journals as well as UGC care journals. This can be published definitely. What it contains, the first is the title. Here title is quite simple for you to understand. To study the meditation practices and its impact on emotional health during the COVID-19 pandemic. So this can be for any person, need not be commerce students, need not be science students or art. It can be, it's called social science, it's called as. And we can have a study of that one. See how it will help you to improve your knowledge. When you say emotional health, immediately say, what is emotional health? What are the emotional health? Which are the factors which causes emotional? Because sometimes we speak on that part, but we speak in general. But now when you write the research paper, it will be very specific. And then you search on the net, what are the factors impacting the emotional health? And then you realize, emotional health based on depression, stress level, anxiety, aggression, it will be physical aggression or verbal aggression. कोई तो जोर से चिल्ला रहा है, can be a verbal aggression. So these all can be factors of emotional health. And all the meditation people, they keep on saying all the time, if you meditate, your emotional health will be good. You will not have a stress. And it was interesting that during the COVID, a certain situation was changed and emotional health of many people got disturbed. Maybe some people lost their job, or some people maybe in a small house has to manage the work from home. So it was multiple difficulties which we were never used to of it part and we are not aware about it. And they have to face suddenly and their emotional health got disturbed. So that time we find it interesting that those who are doing the meditation, how is their emotional health, how much was in control, and those who are doing rarely or never, what is their emotional health. And then we have identified few factors. Emotional health can be depression, stress, anxiety. Not necessarily that all 5 factors you can take. If you feel like I want to study depression and anxiety, you can take only those 2. And there is a factor called limitation of the study. There you can mention the limitation of study is aggression part is not considered and it is for the further scope of study. Somebody else can do the research on that part. My focus is only to study the anxiety and depression level. So there is no boundary. You must include this part. You declare voluntarily the paper. If you have taken this part and these are not being taken. So this is the research paper based on that part. And then you write the abstract. Abstract means why you are doing the research. That part will explain 10 to 15 lines. Like here I can say in general, might be written over there, but I say in general. The anxiety level or depression level, which has an impact on emotional health. Emotional health of all the people cannot be same. Educational level has no impact on the emotional health. कोई पढ़ा लिखा रहेगा तो भी बहुत चिड़चिड़ा हो सकता है और कोई 10th standard 12th standard he can be calm and quiet also. So it's not like that can a higher qualification or good emotional health, not necessary. So the study is interesting with those who people doing the meditation. Some of do it regularly. Some people do as and when they get the time. Some people do occasionally. And some people might develop belief or attitude is उससे कुछ नहीं होता है. So study is interested to identify According to the level of frequency of meditation, what is the emotional health? Here we do not know the result, but it might get something that if those who are doing meditation regularly, their depression level is low. Then you can say, because research will give the evidence what you are saying, evidence for your saying. You give the numbers. 90% of people are saying if you do the meditation regularly and their emotional health or their stress level is only 10%. And those who are not doing the meditation, their anxiety or depression is 25%. So we have evidence. This is what statistics does. What we say superficial or what is the perception is always proved by the numbers. Remember one important thing when you do the research. In research, your opinion is not to be presented. Your opinion is not to become biased. You have to present whatever the information you have, that you have to analyze, and their results to present, and what they say is that you have to conclude. You don't have to add your opinion. According to data says that if people might be higher education, but not doing the meditation regularly, their depression level, stress level is very high. And that's why the corporate, the lectures are conducted to control the stress and this and that. So this is just roll it. So then every research paper has keywords. That means your research is near about which words. So here we have keywords: meditation, anxiety, stress, depression, and these all are factors related to emotion. So every research paper can be minimum 2 to 3 words, maximum can be 5. You should have 10 to 15 words. Don't write an essay over that. Just want the specific words what is related to. The OTT or entertainment guy, the OTT, multiplex, entertainment channel, perception of people, this can be it. Then we write the introduction. In introduction, we write about what your topic is, what is meditation, what is emotional health. We explain that. We explain. And it's the difference between abstract and introduction. Many people feel that's same only. Abstract means what research you are going to conduct. The idea behind that is present in the abstract. And introduction is what you are conducting the research, you are explaining that part. The OTT, so what is the OTT? So that will explain. What is the beginning history of OTT? If you can get the information about the last 2 years, 3 years, the OTT users, that you can provide it. That is considered the introduction. Then multiplex development for last 4-5 years. Definitely there will be certain slack in the 20 and 21 because of the pandemic situation. So you can explain that part. The earlier number of multiplex were this much in the functioning and now this one. So that all information to provide in the introduction. Introduction is the information collected related to the research is present in the information. Here you are not considering anything, you are just explaining what is meditation, what are the types of meditation, what meditation is, what are the benefits of meditation, what are the challenges of meditation, that you can explain in the introduction part. Scroll further. It's called review of literature. This is a new thing for you because you never come across a review of literature part. Whichever topic you have done, there is a possibility that somebody else have done the research on the same topic earlier, on the same topic. So you have to identify what he has done the research, what are his findings, and that you have to present it. Now, emotional health. Somebody might have done Delhi or Gurgaon area. He might have taken the variables different. He must have taken the aggregation on that part. See what is his result. When you select the research, there should be something gap in the earlier. कि पहले किसी ने ऐसा नहीं किया है, इसलिए मैं कर रहा हूँ. It's called research gap. And for research gap, we require to understand the reviews. Here you have to download the paper which are related to the subject which you have opted. See their performance. This is called a style of writing. First we can write the author's name. Then we can write literature review part, literature review part, literature review. Right. Thank you. Thank you. So nice of you. Literature review. Today, at least I'm very happy that the technology is supporting me because out of 10, when I go for a 9 program, there's some problem with technology. I don't know why. I may go at any level, but when I'll always communicate them. See, I have a laptop, I'll get my part. Don't worry, sir, our IT team is very skilled and they'll manage everything properly. And when I come over there, so this file is not supporting, this is not opening, this is not there, this is not there. But everything is fine, so I'm very happy for that. This is the style of writing. First comes the author's name you write, and then write the year of publication. He publishes paper in which year, 2021, and write in just 5 to 6 lines what he said about the research, what was his opinion about the research, what he concluded. So that we external conducted the study on mindfulness program, providing the loving kindness meditation, since the meditation has been recognized as a. So he has explained about the mindfulness meditation. He's taken one of the type of meditation and he explained on that type what the effectiveness is explained that part. I'm reading the first paragraph, third sentence, the third last. The results is important because he has done some research and is giving the results. The results showed that both activities increase in the state mindfulness and self-compassion as well as decrease as a state of anxiety with no more difference between them. So decrease in the state of anxiety. So there is proof only for the anxiety. Just take only for that. You can give generally 5 to 10 reviews can be done. 5 to 10 reviews can be done. This to understand how the others are writing because you are the beginner. So for you, how they are writing, what are the process, what are the steps, what are the title. So you can study on that part. And that's why we can go for that. Go down. Good. Go ahead. Right. Right. Go ahead. Good. That's fine. So first part was abstract. Then introduction. Third was review of literature. What others have done that we are presenting. Only thing is there's a technical thing. Whatever they have said, you cannot copy paste it. You cannot copy paste it. And if you want to have a good quality research paper, there are some software which are called plagiarism software. Plagiarism software. That means you have not taken the any write-up from anybody else, others authors. That can be checked in by the software. And in research paper, if you attach the report of that plagiarism report, then definitely it is more important for you. Because the publisher will understand that part, you are not copied the material from any else and it is your own material, so definitely publication can have importance. Plagiarism allowed up to 10% allowed, up to 10% allowed. Generally 4-5% is reasonable. But if you get plagiarism more than 10%, that software will also inform. यहाँ पे introduction में third paragraph there is a plagiarism. That is third paragraph is taken as it is. So definitely you have to rephrase it, reconstruct the statements, and then you can go in the research paper again. So these are technical things called plagiarism report, which are available free on the net. They are not of that much important, but there are some paid versions are there. For general charges, if I tell you for research paper, they charge 100 rupees charges to generate the plagiarism report. But that report has the importance. Two types of softwares are available. One is a Turnitin and second is a Urkund. Urkund is accepted by Mumbai University. Even for the thesis, we get the plagiarism certificate of the Urkund. So these two are nationally and internationally accepted. And Urkund is more by the University of Mumbai. So if you get the certification of that, and that is being charged 100 rupees for the various centers are there. In Buddha College, librarian is there, Patil sir. He can also get the check it of the plagiarism. You submit the paper to him, and he can get the plagiarism report. You get a proper certification signed by the principal that this research paper has plagiarism of 3%, 4%, 5%. I'm telling you all these things because people doesn't do all this part. But if you want to prove your research paper's quality is your original work, then these are all the evidences are there. Of course, they take it a certification or undertaking that this is the original work that which everybody writes, but we get a certification. It costs 100 rupees for research paper. For minor research, 400, 500. For MP, it is 600. For thesis, it is 1000. Range are different. But for research paper, it's 100 rupees. And might be for students, there might be some discount. I don't know that. So these are the three parts we have covered: abstract, introduction, and review of literature. Understood this part clearly?
Yes.
Now coming to the research knowledge. This is a little technical part, so I might cover it maybe in detail tomorrow. But definitely I'll just introduce that part. What is that? When you finalize your title, then definitely you have to go for objectives. What are the objectives of the study? Like here, first objective is to study level of anxiety and depression according to frequency of meditation. Frequency of meditation means they do regularly, sometimes, rarely, never. They are the frequency. And what are the anxiety level and depression that I wanted to understand it. That is for the first objective. Second objective is to study relationship between frequency of meditation and emotional health. Is there a relationship that you have to study? So there are the two objectives. Research paper, 2 at the most 3 objectives are enough. Because if you increase the objective, your questionnaire will increase, your details will increase, the number of pages will increase. Definitely if you go for the higher level, maybe for Scopus publication, or if you want to go for any ABDC journals, that time we can have 4 or 5 pages we can have. But at your level, for your first research, or even the PG students, you can have only 2. Identify the objectives, and then we have to get the questionnaire part. Information will be required to the questionnaire. To the PPT part. Come to the 5th slide, 4th slide. Yeah, this we are done. 6th. There is one more topic I can discuss because there are many topics over here. Most of people have heard about the generic medicine.
Yes.
And everybody knows that they are cheaper as compared to branded medicine. Right? But still, people are not using generic medicine. So definitely, there's a question. Even generic medicines are much cheaper as compared to branded medicine. Then why people are not using it? The reasons can be many. One is doctor is not prescribed the generic medicine, and the patient says, okay, I don't want to take the risk. When doctor recommended this for my health, I will not compromise. I'll take that medicine only because he's completely have belief on the doctor give the medicine, and doctor is not prescribed the generic medicine. So here 2-way study is possible. One is a patient or customer's perception, what he feel about that part, and second the doctor's perception, medical practitioners, why they are not prescribing. Because patient will say doctor prescribe generic, I think generic. So definitely it depends on. Sometimes happen doctor prescribe generic, you go to chemist is available nahi hai. Generic is not available because you want to promote branded medicine. And for branded medicine, this commercial interest is higher. You get 20-25% profit in that part. In generic might be 10 to 20% because of they are cheaper as compared. So this study can be multiple ways it can be done. What doctor perception about generic medicine, chemist perception about generic medicine, and what is the customers or consumers perception about the generic medicine. So that can be also a good part. And the results can be different areas. It cannot be uniform in the same area. It will be always different according to people. Go to the next slide, please. Benefit we all discussed. This, okay, coming to this part now, questionnaire part we are discussing. If you read research methodology textbooks, and there's always get a questionnaire will be a big section, and they will give the information about what is the ideal questionnaire, or what is the characteristics of the good questionnaire, or what are the important points of the good questionnaire. That everything is there. You write your theory paper, you have to learn and you have to just present it your knowledge properly. But nothing is being used in the practical situation. You realize when you do it that part. In research methodology book, what they write? Questionnaire should not be too lengthy, should not be too short. Too lengthy means how many pages and too short means how many pages? Not being mentioned. Question should not have an ambiguity. That we know everyone. Another point is questions should be close-ended questions. Mostly, as far as possible, close-ended questions. This is an important point. When you collect the information for the people, don't give the opinion, don't give the open-ended question. Means what you feel about generic medicine. Don't give such a question, you write the essay on that part. It's difficult for you to analyze it. Give the options. What are the reasons you don't buy generic medicine? Is it because of the quality of the medicine? Because the doctor is not prescribed, is not available nearby. So give 3-4 options, and if you feel that there can be some other option, write others, but please specify. If you give a close, and that's why you have to have some interaction before doing the research to the senior person or the corresponding authority. You have to always discuss and you have to identify. And you have to identify what can be possible results. So give that time. So questions should be always a close-ended question. In close-ended questions, there can be two ways. One is a Likert scale. Do you understand the Likert scale meaning? Strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. It's called Likert scale. And dichotomous means yes or no. Yes or no. So there is no rule that question should be asked in the dichotomous form or should be asked in the Likert scale. There is no rule. That we have to decide it. And there's a difference between what you learn theoretically and practically. When I ask the questions, I'll take some examples to give the answer, to get the questions for that part. If I go to the anxiety part or the meditation part, I'll connect to the case study so you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. I'm collecting the information about the anxiety or depression. Then ask a question related to that variable. Anxiety is one variable, depression is one variable, aggression is one variable, stress is another variable. So I'll ask the question, do you feel the worst stress? Then option will be given, never, rarely, sometimes, mostly, and always. Now see, those who tick at the never or rarely, that means their stress level is low. And somebody tick on the mostly and always, their stress level is high. So I'm trying to get the information there. If you ask this question yes or no, everybody will tick on the yes. Then you won't be able to get the results. You say 100 people interview, all are stress. But if you use the Likert scale, you'll get never, rarely, sometimes, mostly, and always. So we give the rating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those who rated 5, so it is 100% stress. Those who rated rarely, we can say it can be 20% or 40%. According to the rating, we can convert it to percentage. Statistical formulas we can use. We can use the arithmetic mean, but we convert to percentage form. So what we are doing research indirectly, your information we are quantifying. We are converting into the numbers. Quantification we are doing it, and then we are producing to the results. So your question in the questionnaire can be mostly in the Likert scale. Likert scale is a standard of 5-point scale. If you read the textbook, you'll see that Likert scale should be 5-point scale. There should be 5 options: strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. But in some results, I use 4-point only, which is not suggested in the textbook. But practically, I use 4-point. I remove the neutral part. Because if I take the neutral part, many respondents take the privilege to answer neutral. And it happens when I collect the data related to the HR practices. If I want to understand attrition rate or retention of employee, जैसे काफी स्टडी आते हैं, HR wanted to understand कि my employees are leaving the organization, and we want to understand कि for what reason they leave, and we have to control the attrition. Because if the employee stays for a longer time in the organization, his efficiency can be higher. And a newcomer, it takes long time to understand the culture or organization and to improve the efficiency. So they always wanted to have some studies based on attrition and retention. And if we ask employees, are you satisfied about the monetary terms of the organization? They feel this might be a sting operation against me by the organization, and they wanted to see how much I'm loyal with the organization. So better say neutral. So they say mostly neutral, and our purpose doesn't solve. So we remove the neutral and we give only 4 options: strongly disagree, agree, and strongly agree. So he has to incline somewhere, either agree side or disagree side, and that will be enough. This is the difference between the practical, what you do the research, and what you in the textbook. Textbook is it should be 5-point scale only. It happens with many vivas. If the textbook has saying the 5-point scale and you are using 4-point scale, so this is not good. This is not acceptable. Then there is a test in statistics. It's called test of reliability of scale. What you are using the scale, that scale is proper or not, acceptable or not, that test is available, and we conduct the test, we say the test is accepted, and we show the evidence. This is what the importance of statistics in the research. I am using 4-point scale, but I am giving the evidence that 4-point scale is acceptable with the some statistical methods, which is called Cronbach alpha test. The name of the test is just for your knowledge. Cronbach alpha test is called test of reliability of scale. And I can use that one. So research is nothing but whatever you present the information should have some support. You can't say, I feel like using 4 points, I use 4 points. I don't agree, I'm not comfortable. Your opinion is not important. What the statistical information is more important. When you ask the question related to some practices are adopted or not, or some physical facilities are available or not, that type of question should be yes or no. That time you should not have a Likert scale. For example, if I ask the employees, do you have the medical facility? So they have to say either yes or no. They can't say sometimes, rarely, mostly. We don't expect the answer. People feel. They have a habit. If they make a decoration and they fill all the different parts, and we get the results also. But that question is not valid because what understanding is whether facility is being provided by the organization or not. So it should be dichotomous. You cannot insist everywhere. That's why we say that research is much different from what is given in a textbook and when you do it practically. In the first practice, you will get a lot of hurdles, but a lot of understanding will develop. And when you do the research and PG in the question asked, what are the features of the questionnaire, then you can write n number of points you can write. Because you had been definitely went through the process. You don't remember what are the 4 points in the textbook. You can say that questions can be mostly, question may be dichotomous, question may be Likert scale. It depends on what information you expect, we can choose the scale. Not necessarily that should 5-point scale, 4-point scale can also be applicable, but can be justified using a suitable statistical test. You can go out of the textbook and present it. That's why we say research gives lot of confidence and easy to gain the knowledge. Very important. Coming back to the questionnaire part. In the first session, today's session, we are going to cover abstract, introduction, review of literature, and questionnaire. How to do the analysis, how to present it. In the next lecture, in the tomorrow's session, we are going to cover definitely. You keep last 10 minutes for your questions also. Before we'll complete the questionnaire. There is no restriction that how many questions are there in the questionnaire. Because it's a very common question which is asked to me by every researcher. So, कितने question लिखो? 10, 20, 30. So, precise answer is, what is information required for the objective, study of objective? To get that information, that many questions should be asked. If you are studying the anxiety level, then ask the 4 or 5 questions related to anxiety only. Don't ask about the depression stress level. If you want to study stress level or depression, then ask the question related to stress only. Don't ask about anxiety. Demographic factors you can include. Demographic factors means gender, age, qualification, occupation. This you can ask. But when you ask even this question, you can't ask the exact numbers over there. Like in many research, I get the questionnaire, it is written there. Income. Block is this. Then give the options. Income is a very vague word. Income of respondent or income of family. You have to specify that. Again, you want a monthly income or annual income. Otherwise, some people write annual, some people write monthly. Again, your research is not set. The people don't respond properly. The question was not proper. So make it very clear that the monthly income of respondent or monthly income of family or annual income of respondent or annual income of family. Now question is, so what to select? Respondent or family? For what we should go? Now it depends on what is your title, what is your subject. If you are studying OTT, and student is giving the information, I'm not concerned about his family income. I'm concerned about his income. I'm concerned about the family income. Because what respondent is earning is not concerned. If the family is earning very good, they might have the smart TV of 55 inches. Definitely their answer can be towards OTT within that part. And that's what will get the result. So family income is important at that point of time. Respondent income you can take if you want to study the perception about the investment attitude of the respondent. You want to understand his investment attitude. So his income is important. So that time respondent income is considered. So this all you learn when you enter in the process of research. You cannot learn from the textbook. What is the ideal question? No way. Ideal depends on what is the topic, who is your respondent, and how you collect the information. So when you prepare the questionnaire, the first initial part can be demographic. It can be 4 to 5 questions. Ask only which is related to you. Gender, age group, qualification, occupation, income, it will be monthly, annually, family or individual that you can ask. Don't ask into the unnecessary area, number of children, how many boys, how many girls, married, unmarried. In that what happened, the people are not reading seriously. They pick on unmarried, now number of children 2. You understand that? Developing and progressing, but not up to that extent that there can be answers of this part. Then what is my worry part is, I do data cleaning part. We take out all unmarried and see that there should be no child or not applicable. So we have to clean the data. This is a process is called, and that my work increases a lot. Ask questions which are necessary, essential for your study. Only ask that many questions. So first part demographic, 4 to 5 questions, and then whatever topic you have taken, ask related to that part. OTT part people might be using because of their convenience, because of cost effective. There can be 2 variables. Because of convenience they prefer OTT, and because of cost also they can prefer. So which is more important factor that you identify. Because some people, those are very professional people, doctors and IT engineers, and they are busy, working hours are larger, and they don't get enough time to see the multiplex. So they can use the OTT. So because of the time, so the convenience can be important than the cost. So these all can be reasons. So questionnaire can have approximately at your level 10 to 15 questions can be enough, which are related to your question, your objective. We don't want any information other than objective. Only that much information is required. And then once you get the questionnaire, then the second part starts. That is a entry into the Excel sheet, and then using the data analysis part that we can cover for the tomorrow session. For last 15 minutes, we can have some interaction or question session, what you expect from me, or any topic you want to elaborate and speak more on that part. So definitely we can take that. If you have any questions related to what I've discussed, or you want to understand anything more in any part, you can get back to me.
Sir, can we elaborate more on scaling?
More on
Scaling part.
scaling. No, the technical part tomorrow I'm going to cover, the ordinal skill, that part. I'm saying about the introduction, abstract, title, objectives, whatever you have discussed, in that you want me to give more examples, that we can discuss. Or I can give some list of the prospective research titles that I can give to sir, and you can circulate in some of the group, and you can pick up one of the topic. You have to customize it a bit, because the area can be different. One can do the topic on the meditation in the maybe slum area, or maybe a low income group people, and some can experiment on the high income group people also.
Sir, if there's a scientific research, suppose if someone is doing research in science, what is the basic biostatistics that they are supposed to look throughout their PhD?
Tomorrow is still the science class.
Yeah, sure.
Now, I honestly say that I was not prepared for the science course, that's one proportion. But tomorrow that we will discuss. But in that the objective, I think that part will not be there.
Yes, yes.
Your part will be very different. I'll take up tomorrow. Very sorry. About the
Keywords.
keyword, how to say the keywords. How to decide? When you start thinking about any title, or this is the research area we can say, title we can frame afterwards. First come thought in mind, here, this you have to do. So definitely it is evolved about some words only. Like generic medicine. Now generic medicine will be quality of medicine, price of medicine, prescription of doctor. So these three four can be keywords. OTT, as I said, multiplex, OTT, cost effective, convenience, that can be. Whatever the words which is the main part of your analysis, that you can pick up. Or if you have any subject in your mind, you just explore it. I can tell you what can be title and what can be the keywords of that part. Means your entire research is evolved around those two things. Like if you're saying the impact on, you know what employee value proposition, EVP? No. Okay. Impact of monetary terms on attrition. Impact of monetary terms in the attrition. If you get good package, then is it effective for attrition, your retention? That can be studied. But if you observe, of course, at your age and you might feel a package अच्छा होना चाहिए, package अच्छा तो कर लेंगे job. But as you go in depth, you realize that particularly package is not important. Your career growth is required. Present package अच्छा है, लेकिन career growth नहीं है तो it's not important. Then secondly, brand of the organization is important. Leadership is important. Because you feel you might be having some dream to work with the Tatas and everything. And if you get employment, two different organizations, maybe little lesser salary in the Tata group of industries, but you give more importance for leadership, you want more ethical company, more leadership company, you might prefer that part. Not to say everything can be monetary terms only. So that time your words will be retention, attrition, and factors affecting the attrition that can. Initially, you don't typically what is your interest subject that can be done. Identify some easy subject, convenient subject which can be done. And with the discussion today or tomorrow, maybe tomorrow I'll stay for some time after the lecture and I can explore more in one-to-one also those who are ready with their thought process, we can discuss that part. So then quickly I can give the inputs, what can be keyword, what can be objective. You might take some time to decide the language of the objective, to decide the words of the objective, but for me it can happen very quickly. Not possible. But one thing is very sure, what is research in the textbook, by reading you will not understand. But somebody explain you is completely different. That is very sure. That's why there's a type of workshops. We take the advantage to encourage students. By reading the textbook, you will not get encouragement for doing the research. But definitely when we say it's not that difficult, but it is a process. The entire steps are given and way out is given, then definitely will be encouraged for this. So one thing is very sure, it explores lot of knowledge of different areas. Because when you read any subject you find it, attrition, retention of the company, then definitely you start exploring this part. Yeah, what is retention? Then identify factors impact on retention. You get multiple factors are there. Monetary, non-monetary benefits, facilities. Work-life balance is one of the important factors comes. Work-life balance. If work-life balance is good, especially for the female, we get all this. They have most preference for the work-life balance. There are more than 400 research, so I have a lot of insight to the various subjects for that part. One of the interesting research was done. I'll get back to you once again. I'll just complete my. One of the research was the girls get married, then which are the influencing factors to choose the partner? And there are 10 factors are there. There are 10 factors are there. Only 10 factors are there. And then they have good factors in fact. If you want, I can explore the question for you, so it might help you for the future. What is been observed in the research that I'm telling you? The girls getting married in the late age, maybe somewhere 26, 27, 28, 29, the chances of divorce are more. And girls getting married at the age of 23, 24, 25, the chances of divorce are very less. And the psychological reason behind that is, the girls are more flexible in the age of 20 to 25, and as the age goes to 27, 28, 29 maybe, they become more rigid. And the rigidity is the reason of divorce. This was a good result which came in the, and that came because of research only. No textbook is present in this part. I was thinking. Research paper you want to see once? Okay. There was a research paper which is only of level of maybe peer review journals or ABDC. वहाँ पे नीचे class third paper है folder में जाओ, which is of ABDC और जो higher level पे journals होते हैं ना, उसकी एक paper है. Open the last. ये ready to cook का पूरा ready to cook जो factors होते हैं ना, why people buy ready to cook, who buy that part, why they buy it, is because of convenience. What is the promoting factor? Study the influence factor. They know that. Sir is doing the research on this part again. Some is the topic here. Study the influencing factors and impact of satisfaction of customers on buying behavior of ready-to-cook food. See, what is the buying behavior? What are the factors people refer for that part? And based on that, the abstract introduction, all parts will be read. You want to see this part?
Come to introduction.
Come to introduction part. Introduction is the information related to your topic. Related to your topic.
Sir, actually, my question was,
we always refer our any introduction or anything, we are relating from different papers that we gain of it from different paper and relate it here, right? So we are using that referencing that et.al type thing was written there. What was that specifically? Why are we using that?
Site president, so that etal thing, etal
Research papers, no? When they are more complicated or more depth is required in the research, then 4 or 5 people can come together and they can publish a research paper. When multiple authors are there, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we don't want to write all the names in this time, we write the name of the first author and then we write the et.al, that means others. The French words are there, these are, but this means there are many other authors are there. So this and others. This was communicated. It's called et.al. Only write the first author. But that is technical part is not very important. Some university want to write all the authors, some want to write only this. So that suggestion may come from the publisher. But it is not very essential part that can have an impact on the quality of the paper. But as you ask me, the answer is if one author is there, then write that. Multiple authors are there, then you will write 80.
What if there is no other research on my topic? So what I put in for the literature?
Then definitely it should be a very, very, very new topic where the research has not been done at all. Definitely. Then you can mention a review of papers. It is the origin and there is no research found on that part.
We can skip that part.
एक भी point नहीं रहेगा, so you can skip the literature bit. But mention that part. Why the study is not available. Do you have some topic in your mind?
No, actually I done one for my BMS. So it was on IKEA, green marketing. So I did not find anything on that. Since
Green marketing is not there.
no, it was booming that time. It was new. IKEA
No,
was new.
green marketing, lot of things are
It
available.
is like for other district, not
That's yeah, exactly. See, you might be taking a particular sector or particular company, right? Marketing,
Yes.
green marketing for this company. But you can study in the literature review how green marketing is impacting the other company, other sector, that you can take it. See, you cannot get the same company which you are doing, that will not get it. That is very sure. So if you are doing might be for the IT sector, green marketing, you can take it for the automobile sector, you can take it for education sector or financial sector, that you can take it definitely. Because your research should not be there earlier, should not be there. And that's why you are doing the research. The research gap we always mention that part. Earlier, the researcher have done the research on the green marketing, but for the other sectors, but what I am presenting on this sector. But other sectors you can take in your literature. I thought there is new ideas which is come. So I was very happy to explore from you and to right. But till today I have not come across any research who has no literature review. In COVID happened, what happened. But nobody is having the impact of COVID on multiple things. Anything else?
to unregistered on goods. Actually, when I was writing my research paper, there was a lack of data. And I have read somewhere that it is possible to generate data values. Is it so? And how do we
Generating
do
data values
that?
are unethical.
I wanted to.
Unethical, we don't discuss the platform. We can discuss outside the room.
Sure.
The data is not available means you don't have the proper respondent or is understand what she is saying. The data is not available, which is possible. Data is not available because one student approached me. Sir, I have done my registration for the PhD, and you are a good person to guide me to make the questionnaire. I said yes, definitely I will help you. And his topic was a study of stress level and work-life balance of Mumbai police. And Mumbai police is not supposed to give the information. You have to take the permission from their higher authorities. Secondly, you cannot criticize the government for their work-life balance because they have their own policies, their own structure within that. Because if you make their work-life balance, then your work-life balance will definitely disturb. If you try to make their work-life balance, because sometimes they don't get the leave because of the security is required more important. So definitely they stress that they know that part. But there are certain topics. So here they cannot get the data. I said very sharp. In that case, even you ask the higher level police commissioner level and to give the, he will not give the permission. So we can give the permission. Because back end they have their own reasons ki why they are stressed, why work-life balance is disturbed. Now many doctors are there, their work-life balance is disturbed, but they are serving to the society. Their primary practice to serve the society. If a doctor has to go for dinner with his wife and you enter with the accident patient, and also no, I have to go for my wife because the dinner is planned. You feel very bad. But if you give the priority, no, okay, but cancel the dinner, let's see the patient first. That's called professionalism. And that professionalism takes the long. So sometimes some topics you cannot research. So that is possible that you cannot get the data some control, but you cannot generate the data also. Data generation is not good. Generate data expression is possible. 100 data you have, but you have written 150. So 50 can explode. You get the results of the 100, and what 100 people are saying, you explode them into that. That is possible. But entire data generation is not possible. No question from the students on last two rows. No questions from last two rows. They are discussing a lot in between, so I thought they might be preparing some questions or noting the questions. So I was worried a lot of questions will come from the last two rows.
Sir, I also have a request. Tomorrow we will discuss about ANOVA test, T-test and test.
Tomorrow we'll discuss that statistical part, which method, that's why the two parts are there. Tomorrow we'll discuss all about the which tests are applicable, why this is applicable, what is the interpretation, that we'll discuss tomorrow session.
So students, I guess the basics of research today, that part is being covered by sir, and the discussion, or it was a very interactive session. I was not there for full time, but then whatever time I spent, definitely I could see that lot of enthusiasm from your side and lots of queries. And sir, from his experience of almost 30-35 years, definitely given you the answers as well as plenty of examples, because it's not just question answers, but sir has got the database of so many researches or even the faculties as well as even corporates. So they do approach sir and get his advice on research domain, and definitely you must have benefited. So today is the day first. Tomorrow we have session 11 to 1. Tomorrow it will start at 11 o'clock sharp. Today being very first day, as there are some protocols we have to follow and formal program we have to organize in the beginning. So tomorrow straight away lecture will start, and your queries, your doubts, your all whatever possible things are there, you can share it with sir, and sir definitely will try to give you the deliberation. Thank you, all of you. Before leaving, as the students, those who have registered, and some students afterwards on the spot they got registered, they have got or they have been given this feedback form. Please fill it, and our volunteers team is there nearby our entrance, so you can submit those forms to them and then leave peacefully. Okay. Very next another program is going to take place. Okay, so see to it that things are clear. Wish you all the best. And definitely, I would like to thank our volunteers. They are working, for last 2 or 3 days. IT team who is assisting us and giving this support. This particular program is live also. So I'm very happy that within short notice our IT team has done this particular in the sense support, and thereby YouTube live is also waiting. So all the best students. Tomorrow we will see all of you. Okay, and please give a big clap to our staff. Thank you. Volunteers, IT team, and everyone who is here. Without all of you, this program could not have been performed. All the best. Go peacefully, please submit your form. Don't create any ruckus. It's overcrowded program. I'm very happy, but at the same time, we have to follow discipline as well. So volunteers, please, you may collect form within the row also, and while moving, students moving out.